Hello, everybody, and welcome back yet again to another episode of the 100 Series Everyday Awesome Podcast. I am Juwan Arrington, creator of the 100 Series, and we are back here for season 3 of the podcast here in August 2021. And we have now our second 3-time guest here on the podcast. If you've been following the 100 Series for a while, you've been watching the videos that I've been making and posting online, and you hear the music in those videos. Well, this man right here, our guest today, he's one of the men who's responsible for the music that you've been hearing in those videos. We have Young Scrimmage. He's back again for the 3rd time. How you doing, man?
Good. It's an honor to be here, man.
So the last time I brought you on here, it was last year, about March 2020, really early when the pandemic was going on. First question I have to ask you is, how you been since, man?
You know, the pandemic and 2020 was a very difficult year in my life. I will say that it taught me persistence and resilience. PR is what I call it, and it's been foundational for my success currently, from the weight loss journey and everything to like my court situation as well, with family court. You know, I've been doing really good now, but there was a long time where I had to be persistent and resilient. So I'm very proud of the experiences during that time.
All right. So let's talk about the music, man. What have you been up to? What have you been doing as far as the music goes?
So I actually own a company now called Scrimmage Productions, and we believe in empowering the creative. So what we're doing is our initiative is going to be to empower the creative by either making music production, or promoting shows and investing into the community. So recently I've been doing a lot of shows, like the open mic nights down at the spot, and then also tonight we have a show called the Vibe Night. So it's been exciting to get into the music scene in a more physical business sense and investing into creatives and the community in that way. But I've also just been doing music on the side too as well for my business. So it's been a really great journey this year too for that.
So let's talk about that. Let's talk more about what you've been doing with the spot and with all the shows you've been putting out. How did that all come about?
So I'm actually really good friends, and we're all part of the same music group, the East Siders. So Tavian Johnson, Avery Pearl, and Fantana, and everybody else, Brian Fanning, right? Everyone else is on the board too, Wes as well. People that are on the board there, I just kind of connect very well with them, and we've all come into a point where we needed to do some more shows, and I've offered my company for that position. You know, I wanted to step up to the plate and empower the hip-hop community, especially in the Quad Cities. It seemed like there was an opportunity that came about this year, especially with some other, events that happened in the Quad Cities. So, it just kind of was incumbent upon me to take a part of that position.
Cool. And what have been some of the shows that you've been putting on? I know you said the open mic night. What else do you have going on?
Yeah, so right now there's a Vibe Night going on tonight. So tonight we have Zach Reb. We have Clear Soul. We have Rue Maroon going. Soul for Me. We have Sincerely Empty, a great artist as well. And then we have a few DJs tonight too. But I'm kind of still building my portfolio for the next few months here. I'm looking at doing some seminars as well with some very influential people in the area. So yeah, we're just kind of looking at seeing what the next step will be in the Quad Cities.
Good stuff. And don't get me wrong, that the official grand opening of the spot is this weekend, correct?
Yeah. So it was technically it was the alternating currents event that happened on Thursday. So yeah, this week is the entire grand opening week. It's been kind of a great adventure to see all my buddies and business associates and music teammates too, being very happy with their success so far. So it's been pretty cool seeing that,
That's awesome, man. That's really cool. And I'm definitely looking forward to going down to the spot and definitely seeing everything that you guys have going on down there. I know that because I was down in the district on Thursday doing a shoot, and I saw a Big Man G down there. I saw Franco
Yeah.
down there, and I'm always excited to see those guys down there because they're always putting out good content. I just had Big Man G on the podcast uh, a few episodes ago, so he's doing some cool stuff with his car chronicles and everything. So
Yeah.
I'm really just excited just to see like the new wave of artists that come through.
Yeah, that's the important thing too. That's why, Scrimmage Productions holds the open mic nights, and it's really cool seeing the community come together. Um, Not only to support the artists, but seeing the community created by the artists being in the same venue together. We haven't maybe met each other too. Like the connections you see from like the artist to artist or peer to peer is really cool, and it's building quite a infrastructure for creative development in the Quad Cities. So yeah, I mean that's a really cool thing that we're doing there too as well.
And what have you been doing as far as the music making goes? Because I know that you dropped a few songs, not too recently on the streaming platforms. What have you been up to there?
Yeah, just it's a case by case basis, right? So basically, right now we're focusing on doing instrumentals, for like the 100 series and that kind of stuff, right? And other businesses that want to partake in and that need music for their content. But I'm kind of low key working on an album too.
Okay.
That's not posed yet, but I'm just kind of laying the groundwork for something very great in the future.
Oh, that's gonna be super cool, man. So I know you probably can't share too much, but were you thinking it's gonna be more instrumental or more like with like artists and vocals on it?
Definitely artists and vocals on it, a few skits, and maybe I'll actually include like a deluxe they'll have instrumental only on there, as well, attached with the original music too. But definitely an artistic experience what I'm looking for.
Nice, yeah, because I know like you recently just came out with a song called Night that I thought was really cool. This is a very chill song, very laid
Mhm.
back song. It's a little different from some of the things you've shared in the past, man. Let's talk about the thought process with making that song.
Yeah, I mean, the thought process with that kind of goes back in the entire year of 2020 to 2021. Like I said, this year has been a very difficult year. So I've been going to vices like music and knowledge, as books and that kind of stuff, right? So I've been getting a lot of inspiration in all areas of my life. And I would say that in particular, that song was inspired by my kind of dive into like French music lately. I don't
Okay.
know a lick of French at all. I don't know how to speak the language or what it, any of the language actually means. But their music is so beautiful, man. And it's always ever changing, and the different like styles that they have in different genres has been really inspiring to me too. So it's kind of based off of what I've been hearing and that in the world. Um, but overall, it's kind of the direction of it's more like, you're driving your car at nighttime, you're cruising around or whatever, and you're experiencing the light in the city. And it's kind of a motivational track too. It's pretty nice. But we have a lot more of that coming out. So
Oh, more? You got more coming out?
yeah, I'll be doing more of that kind of stuff, definitely.
Oh, nice, nice. I'm definitely gonna have to scoop that up whenever it drops.
Looking forward to it.
Nice stuff. All right, man. Well, let's talk about you. You mentioned it already about your weight loss journey. Let's talk about that, man. Obviously, I've been following your posts, the whole last year and just seeing your progress with your fitness journey and everything, man. It's been absolutely inspirational. So let's talk about, how did that all come about, man? Because I remember seeing you first start getting into the gym, and now I'm seeing you right now running miles, running marathons, and everything. So talk about that progression.
The progression is there's two things that's very important to me. One thing is legacy. The second one is living a long life. Um, the foundation to the running is from suffering, right? Just pain that I've been kind of pushing forward, I guess, and being persistent and resilient, PNR. The first day I started, I ran a 14:36 mile, which I was 280 pounds at that time, which was October 21st is when I first got on a treadmill of 2020. And over the course of time, I've gotten my mileage down to about 7, maybe 6:30. If I really try and push and exert my power. But I've lost 110 pounds at this point today. So it's been foundational on my legacy that I want to create, and also living a long life. The main motivation, though, and a lot of my friends know this, is my son Octavian. It's very important to me, not only as a father, but as a human being, to be a good example to people. And I want my son to be influential in his life as well. So it's an absolute honor to inspire those around me by just doing what I need to do. Because I know that's changing a lot of lives. It's a very powerful feeling to have that kind of power by doing good things. But it's not over yet, you know?
Mm-hmm. That's cool, man. Yeah, because you're just saying that you were, like, during one of your workout sessions, you were running like marathons and all that stuff. So what do you use to push yourself? What kind of music do you listen to? Do you listen to music when you're working out?
It's all in the mind. It's all in the mind. I've listened to this guy, David Goggins. You might know who he is. Total badass dude. He's an ex-Navy SEAL. Just crazy mentality, but he talks a lot about this thing called the cookie jar, right? And what I do during these runs, you know, the first like 3 miles or whatever is typically the hardest part of it, because you're just like, nobody wants to freaking run. I mean, nobody really wants to run, but you kind of have to, right? If you're in that mental state. During that time, I will kind of go into this thing called the cookie jar, and you'll pull things out of it, like, you know, pain and suffering from the past, or someone saying something mean to you, somebody or something that pushed you down. And you just kind of gravitate towards that issue, and you expand upon it in your mind. You kind of get away from the pain that you're feeling in that moment, and it becomes more of a motivational thing in the future. So a lot of it has been foundationally for my son, right? My son and everything that I think about with him, a lot of it is correlating to the run. I'll even say his name sometimes when I'm running too, because it's always locked up here, Octavian, you know? So one thing I want to also talk about with that correlation between running and my son is his name is Octavian, right? Which is the nephew of Julius Caesar, Augustus, who was the first emperor of Rome. Octavian was a legendary person for Rome, and he led the Pax Romana for 300 years. And there's one quote that I love so much that Augustus/Octavian said. He said, "I found Rome as brick and left it as marble, and I want my son to leave this world as marble." Wow. So by doing what I'm doing, I want him to leave the world as marble as well.
Wow. That's deep, man. That's very profound. And I like that you have that type of motivation guiding you throughout this journey, man. That's definitely something that will definitely get you pushing.
There's one thing too that really shocked me. I've never been like a person who really inspired. You know, I've inspired people in my past, but I haven't done things that are very inspiring until this year, really. And this guy named John, who's at least like 67 years old, he runs at Vanderbilt Park where I run every morning, and where he walks there typically, right? And he would say things like, you know, they're gonna have a statue of you here, they're gonna do this and that. That didn't really do anything for me, like that kind of praise, right? But one day, like it was 2 weeks ago, I saw him running, and he never runs. And I was like, dude, I'm so proud of you, man. Like, this is great. I love seeing this. He goes, "You're my inspiration." But what John doesn't understand, I don't think, and a lot of people understand, is when they tell me that, I'm actually inspired by them because they're running. It's a weird, like, backwards feed where, where he actually inspires me to run more because I can't let him up. I can't let him down, you know?
Right, yeah, because they're seeing you as the example now. Now it's like you have to keep it up so that, you know, you don't, you know, affect their, you know, spirit and their motivation.
Yeah, it's a weird paradigm, and it sounds very egotistical, but really it's they feed me with that because I can't let him down. I know that I'm changing his life, and I have to continue the trajectory of my life going up if I want him to get better too. You know, so it's that times like 100 people that have told me that I've inspired them. You know, people I haven't talked to in 10 years DM me and tell me that I inspired their weight loss journey, and that's an incredible power to wield, um and the best part about it, it's just doing nothing but being a decent human being,
It really is.
just running, just doing what you need to do.
Yeah, just
So
doing what you can, just doing what you can every single day. And I say it all the time that you never know who's watching you, but there's someone always watching you. So it's like, what are you doing, in your life, and what are people going to see, from you, and then, because their actions will always speak louder than any word that you say, any post you make on social media. And people are always going to see what you're doing. And I always think it's very important to make sure that at least what I'm doing is something that people can be proud of, that my family can be proud of, that my friends
yes.
can be proud of, and learn something from. I would say if I can like at least reach one person, that I've done enough.
Yeah, and it's funny that you say that too, because we live in a world of facade and fakery and people doing things for likes and shares, that kind of stuff, right? But really, the most likes and shares you'll get is by being authentic, by being true to yourself, and be on a mission that's bigger than yourself. Because a lot of people on Instagram are about themselves only, right? But I've seen my insights and my analytics go up when I stopped trying to be the face of Young Scrimmage and just was myself, you know. So like, to go to your point, it's like making them proud, making people happy, inspiring them to be great themselves. I think gets the best reception on social media. It's kind of like the reverse of what social media has become, you know. So I always think about people watching me, and it's not in an egotistical way. It's like, I know when I go run at Vanderveer Park, there's a reason why I run on the inside too, because the inside is where the walkers stay. The runners go on the outside parameter, but the walkers go on the inside. And I know that if I run on the inside and they see me running in there, they're gonna feel a little bit inspired themselves. And you never know when you run outside and you're running, your 7-10 mile, whatever it is, the marathon run that I did, when someone's gonna see you and you're gonna spark that fire inside of them to do something freaking great that day. You just never know. You never know the chain reaction just running outside. So yeah, it's pretty cool, man.
Yeah. Everything's a butterfly effect. You do one small thing, and that can just lead to a whole wave of things happening, that you could even foresee. So it's like everything that we do matters. Every action we take matters. No matter how small you think it is, no matter how mundane it may be perceived as, it matters.
Yeah.
And it's going to, if not like your close friends and family, it's going to affect someone, and you probably don't know them, you probably will never meet them, but it will carry that weight.
Yeah, that's funny you say that, and it's incredible because there's a day that's instilled in my mind. It's October 20th of 2020, and I can't really talk too much about the schematics of that day, but that day caused a massive chain reaction to my development, a shock to my system, right? And that day, I'll forever be grateful for that experience I went through. How painful it was, everything that happened that day. I went from that particular moment to changing my entire life. My financial literacy is up. My knowledge of the world is up. My investments are up too. My business, everything that my fitness journey as well. Everything that could be positive in my life has become so much greater because of the suffering I went through on that day. And yeah, that chain effect is a real thing. It's a real thing. And I think people, if they get away from the woe is me factor when they go through something really bad, really painful, and then look at it as a way to improve themselves in a way that they should in general, that chain reaction can lead you to something so beautiful, man.
Absolutely. Well, hopefully that I know you recently mentioned that you were going through, something pretty heavy personal wise. You don't have to get into that if you don't want to, but how's that motivated you to keep going?
Well, the foundation of that situation is my son, right? So there's a memory of my father that I have, and this could probably get pretty deep here. Actually, there's a memory of my father that I have when I was a child, and my father wasn't around very much. He tried the bare minimum, but he got married to this woman that wouldn't let him see me. So I was probably 6 or 7 years old, and it was like midnight. My mom wakes me up. She goes, "We need to go," and I didn't really understand what was happening. I was kind of just shocked or whatever, and we drove like it was like 30 minutes out in Texas somewhere, and then it was midnight, so it was pitch black outside, and I realized that we were going to see my dad. My dad had to sneak out to come see me, and it's the most pathetic thing that I've experienced at a young age, because he's my father. He should have been there to fight for me, to give his opinion on what he wanted, and to be proud of his son and everything, right? And proud to have a son. But ultimately, he let me and my mom kind of move away without saying too much. And when I was like 9 or 11, or I was 11 years old actually, sorry. He called me randomly before New Year's, like a week before New Year's, whatever. And he just told me he loved me and that kind of stuff. And I told him I loved him. Then he died a week later, right? So these kinds of things are instilled in my mind and my father. And I'm going through a very interesting family court case I can't talk about, but it's very rare. My lawyer, who's been working on for family law for 40 years, 35 to 40 years, says he's never experienced this kind of case before, which is really, it's been kind of stressful in the brain to strategize and work in these ways because of the opposition party. But the most important thing is I can't be that kind of father that my father was to me. So I am totally invested in being a father. And that is the foundation to my success and what I've been doing lately. And lately, I mean, by an entire year span. This started October 21st when I was able to go on that treadmill for the first time and push my ass to work hard. That's when, like, this whole transition of me becoming who I am today started. But I owe it all to my son, and that's the difficult part of that whole situation, Ryan. So, yeah, kind of a long tangent, but that's kind of the foundation of what's going on.
Well, I definitely hope that everything works out for you, man. I'm pushing for you, man. I'm rooting for you. That everything goes right for you, goes well, and that gets resolved the way should be resolved.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. It's a humbling experience to go through this kind of tumultuous time, especially during the pandemic too. So it comes with its challenges, but there's nothing better than being a father, and it's an amazing feeling, man. Even knowing that he's out there and just makes you really happy.
So before we wrap things up here,
sure.
What's the one thing that you want people to take away from this episode?
That pain is your greatest friend. To use pain as fuel, not as an anchor. And doing is moving and trying is dying.
I like that. You've been saying that a lot, man. You've been saying that a lot. That phrase is actually. I was thinking about that when I was on the bike today, while I was pedaling away, and like my legs were burning, and I was like, I gotta keep going. And that phrase like crept into my head. I was like,
that's the power. So you saying that makes me very inspired to go do what I need to do.
So yeah, man, I appreciate that. I definitely appreciate that.
Like that's what I mean by the chain reaction, and the reason why you inspire me. I'm inspiring you by saying doing it is moving and trying is dying, but really you're inspiring me because I did the right thing for you, and it feels really good, man. It's a level of gratitude that I can't explain to people until they they do it for someone else, you know.
Excellent stuff. All right, man. Well, as always, how can people find you if they want to look you up online?
So Young Scrimmage on all platforms. Yeah, that's about it. So you just type in at Young Scrimmage, YUNGSCRIMMAGE. And I'm located on Spotify, Apple, iTunes under the same moniker as well. So yeah.
Stuff. All right, man. Well, thank you again for coming back for the third time now on the podcast, man. I always love having you on as a guest, man. Love seeing what you're up to. And I'm definitely excited to see what you have coming up in the future, man.
It's a pleasure, man. Thank you, bro.
And everyone at home, thank you for checking out another episode of the 100 series, Everyday Awesome Podcast. Stay followed to us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Twitch so you know exactly when the next episode is going to drop. As always, I wish you all peace, prosperity, and positivity. Take care of yourselves, and as always, keep it 100.
Thanks.